Hello, vinyl community. I thought I'd make a video tonight because I have to do this anyway. So I thought I'd film it. Corey's VC channel came up with, I thought, a pretty good premise. And that was his Sealed to Revealed. And I think Dr. Deadwax may have done a video too, and I might have even watched one or two others. But I thought this was a good idea because a lot of us have sealed vinyl in our collections that's not new. Now I'll admit I have a lot of new sealed vinyl that I just simply haven't gotten to yet. But I also have some old vinyl. And it's interesting what vinyl, when you find it sealed, that you want to keep sealed, and what vinyl that maybe you want to open, and maybe you have a purpose for opening it besides playing it. Or, I don't know. I just find it interesting that I'm sure many people like me have some sealed vinyl that's older, and some of it really old in my collection. So I thought I'd show some of that. I'm sure I haven't found it all. And I thought I'd start off my video by showing 3 or 4 albums that were sealed when I got them, and I opened them. Most of them I've opened because I wanted to play a track on my podcast, and that's why I'm going to open the one tonight. But not all of them, I suppose. But anyway, I thought I'd start out with this. This was an album that I loved when it came out. At least I loved one song on it. Not so much now. But this is, I've forgotten his name even, Rob Junkless, who may still be making records, amazingly enough. But this album, I don't even know what it's called, Closer to the Flame, came out around the same time as Dave Edmunds' Closer to the Flame, actually, about 1989. And it's not a great album, but I wanted to play the song Make It Mean Something. I think I played it on my very first podcast. And so I cracked it open. It was new and sealed from 1989 till this one maybe 2 years ago. Same thing, I wanted to play a song on my podcast. Steelers Wheel from what, 1973? Yeah, I think 1973 on A&M Records. Their second album, Fergusley Park. This was sealed till, I don't know, 2 years ago or something like that. I cracked it open to play a song. So, well, each of these have had one song played off them, basically. They're still mint records as far as I'm concerned. This is probably 1965. Guy called Frankie Randall, and I got this really cheap, and I wanted to hear this one. I've actually have played a couple songs on my podcast because I liked it. But it's a decent swinging poppy lounge album, and the guy's got a good voice, and he's done some really good songs. Want to see 1965? I hit it on the head. Frankie Carl sings and swings. Was sealed till maybe a year ago. I got one more of these. This I thought was awesome. I love the song Born a Woman. This is Sandy Posey's Born a Woman LP. And again, this was sealed till about a year ago. And this is 1965 as well, I believe. I don't think it's going to tell me, but it's around 65 or 66. And it stayed sealed all that time. And this vinyl is slightly noisy. Looks great. You know. Corners came like this. Don't you love that? Can't really take it back. You can even see it's faded. I don't know if it'll show up on the camera. It's faded in the corner. But as you can see, this is a mint record. It doesn't sound perfect. It sounds good, but there is a little bit of poppiness, and sometimes that happens when an album stays sealed for, I'm going to fold it flat back here, 40 years or 50. That can happen. I have some here older than that. Okay, now I'm going to get to stuff that's still sealed. And I'm going to start out with some things that you don't usually think of as sealed, but they used to be. And that's 45s. After John Lennon died, I thought, what the heck, I got a few bucks. I was a kid, but I got a few bucks. So I bought, 'The 45s' from that album, the Double Fantasy album. And they used to come packaged like this. Here's Just Like Starting Over. It's still sealed. It's never been opened. It's mint. It's never been played. I also have the next one, Woman. I have Watching the Wheels. 3 or 4 of these, 2 of the 4 of these were from Hill's Department Store. The other one, Kmart, maybe, I'm guessing. And Yoko Ono's Walking on Thin Ice. All of these packaged in the Today's Hits thing. Still sealed, never opened. So they're still sealed too. Okay, now some records. And most of these are records that aren't open for a reason. There's no reason to open them. But I got them really cheap, some of them. And I've showed some of these before, by the way. Here's an album from Firestone called Christmas in America. There's going to be a few Christmas albums here. Another Christmas in America album from Firestone. The Many Moods of Christmas. Who put Goodyear did this one. And you see these things everywhere, but you never see them sealed. A Very Merry Christmas. Grant's Department Store put that out. These are all from the 60s or very early 70s. Another Firestone one, Home for the Holidays. This one looks a little later maybe. MCA Records put that out. I'm saying 75, 76 on this one. That one is a little bit later. And the Joyous Songs of Christmas. Goodyear again put this one out. Most of these have been on Columbia Records. This I picked up just because it was sealed. I probably paid 33 cents for it. Disneyland's Prince and the Pauper. This has got to be from the early 60s, mid-60s at the latest. It was $1.89 originally. And still sealed. Nobody's ever opened it. So I have it in my collection. Another thing I picked up really cheap, and I don't see a reason to open it. Maybe someday I will. An Evening with the Stars. It is a 5-record set. On Premier Albums Incorporated. It's got some Steve Lawrence, some Lennon Sisters, some Lawrence Welk on here, Frankie Carl, and Mel Torme. I got a feeling probably an album of each. No, a side of each. There's also Charlie Francis, Margie Anderson, Mario Castellani, Art Mooney and his orchestra. Maybe I'll get adventurous someday. Fats Waller, Mercy, Look a Here. The reason I haven't opened this is I have a very similar album. It's not exactly the same, but it's similar. That has most of the same stuff on it. This is a 3-record set. That one is too. And I picked that one up about the same time I picked this one up, and this one was sealed. So I've just left it that way. Diana Ross. I don't know the deal behind these. In one of my thrift stores, there was about 10 of these one day. They were 99 cents. It has been cut out, but it hasn't been re-shrunk over. It is the original shrink. And it's Baby It's Me, Diana Ross from the early 70s. I don't know. I'm too blind to read that. It's too tiny. Very early 70s anyway. Still sealed. There was a bunch of them. See, there was an album sticker there at one point. I didn't take it off. That's when I left the price tag on. I paid 29 cents for this. Vicky Carr and Espanol. If I ever want to hear Vicky Carr and Espanol, or play it on my podcast, which is a possibility, I'll open it. But again, 29 cents, sealed Vicky Carr album. I bought it. There is some better stuff in here, by the way. SRO, Herb Alpert, and the Tijuana Brass. Now, you can pick these up at any thrift store. Usually they're beat. But I actually have a couple of these, actually, in really good condition. And this one, which is mint because it is still in its shrink. And this would be the stereo version of this, which means it could be a later press. Don't know until you open it. This is kind of cool. George Jones, Mr. Country and Western Music. This is on Musicor, which was his label after Starday. And, I don't know, it's partially open here, but it's still sealed. I don't know, I'm a George Jones fan, and maybe someday I'll check this out, but right now, it stays sealed. This is old. Louis Prima and Keely Smith, A Box of Oldies. Now, I actually have one of these that isn't sealed. And it's on my favorite label that I've talked about before, the Spinorama label. And the shrink is coming off in the back, but it is still sealed. This has got to be from the very early 60s. And still sealed, mint record inside. Couple more here. Dr. Dementos, the greatest novelty records of all time, the 60s. I have one of these already, so I have no need to open my sealed one. So, there you go. That's on Rhino Records. Atlantic Rhythm and Blues, Volume 5 on Atlantic Records. It's a 2-record set. I'm missing 2 of these in my collection. I want them all. But Volume 5 is still sealed. And I will open it when I need it. But till I do, it stays sealed. I got one more, and then the one I'm going to open. Steelers Wheel. Right or Wrong. This is their last album, I believe, on A&M Records. That's Jerry Rafferty and Joe Egan there. And this is from '74, I believe. And it's been sealed all of this time. And I have a reissue of this on Pickwick, so there's not really any need to open it, although the Pickwick doesn't sound great, so maybe someday. But right now, stay sealed. And now, and I kind of don't want to do this, but I kind of want to play a song on my podcast, so I'm going to. Indian Giver, the 1910 Fruit Gum Company on Buddha Records. This is from probably 67 or 68. And it's sealed. And I don't know if it's a promo copy. It could even be a resale, to be honest. Because there's a Compliments of Fisher Radio, and that sticker is underneath it. But they could have put out a bunch and had them sealed. And you never know, in the 60s, weird things were done. So here you go, the 1910 Fruit Gum Company. This has been sealed, if it's original, since 68. So 78, 88, 98, 08. 45 years, 46, 47 years. This has been a sealed record. Well, let's change that. I got a cutter here. Hope I don't damage it while I open it. Ooh, got a nice clean slit. Can you guys see that I'm actually doing this? And I've opened it. To the plain white sleeve. It's on the Buddha label. See if it's warped. Doesn't appear to be warped. What is here? It's on the Buddha label. The record is immaculate, so I don't think that it is a resale. It looks perfect. There you go. 47-year-old record, something like that. Looks perfect to me. And unfortunately, I can't give it a spin in here. And I'm not a video editor. So I'll let you know down the line how it sounded. But there you go. A sealed to revealed. The 1910 Fruit Gum Company Indian Giver. Well, I did that. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. Should do some shout outs, but I can't really think of everybody right now. Who do I leave out? And I also have some new subscribers. I'm up to around 50 right now, but I didn't look to see who they were either. And by everybody that's been watching my videos and leaving comments, and I'm really bad about following up on that, but I do read them. They embarrass me actually a little bit, so I don't always respond in a timely manner. But thank you guys, and thanks to the people that do communicate with Robert Z, and of course Chris over at Dixieland Farms, and Mr. Eli from Israel, and Dean Retro 2, and Rob from Boston always leaves nice comments, and there's just too many. Thank you all. Keep watching. I hope you like the video, and check out my podcast, snapcracklepop.podomatic.com, and you'll be hearing Indian Giver from that album about September. I'm really far ahead right now, but you will hear it, and thanks for watching.